Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boy.
Georgia's 2026 governor's race. Y'all, as y'all know, the presidential election just ended. Like, Trump isn't even technically, quote unquote, in office. Like, he hasn't been sworn in yet. So that'll be in January. But here in Georgia, we're already talking about the next political thing that's about to happen, the next big political thing. And y'all know your state and your local elections actually matter more. It actually affects you more in your day-to-day lives. For example, when Kemp, this is the governor now for Georgia, when Kemp decides to give us tax rebates, bam, that's something that really affects you more. It can happen more than just on a big government per se. Or when the even bigger one, when they suspend the gas tax. So those things are like, it can affect you more in that sense. Local taxes and all those things, just pay attention to those a little bit more. But the reason I wanted to get into this is because they're the first candidate for the Georgia 2029 governor's race has basically put their name in the hat. And this is for the Republican side. But you know, in Georgia, this is Kemp's last term. So we will be seeing people from all backgrounds throwing their name in this hat to become Georgia's next governor. And I figured, hey, in my past, I have not followed this thing. So I've really been uninformed. I've really been an uninformed voter. In the past, like I say, I voted straight Democrat, so it didn't really matter. It didn't really matter who was on the ballot or what was going on. I was going to vote for whoever was going to go up against the Republican at the end of the day. I was going to vote for the main Democrat anyway. But that's to me, the logic behind that just doesn't sit right. It's very uninformed. It's very, I don't know. It's just not smart to me. It's just not a smart decision to make. It's not a logical decision to make. So in this race, I've already made a pledge starting with the presidential stuff that I am going to start following these things and get more informed from the beginning. Because once you do it from the beginning, it's not like a whole hodgepodge of stuff you're trying to consume all at one time. So it's easier to consume. It's easier to get to know the candidates if you follow them from when they actually start. So going through their primaries to going on when they're going head to head with who's ever on the other side, so the Democratic or the Republican ticket. And like I said, I'm an independent voter, so I want to see who's going to be best for us here in Georgia. But let's go ahead and roll this video so they can talk about who is the first candidate to throw their name in the hat for the Georgia 2026 governor's race. Let's get it.
Well, welcome in. We are still weeks away from 2025, but in Georgia politics, we are already peeking ahead to 2026.
That's right. Things move very quickly in our state. And this week, we got our very first entry into that 2026 governor's race. And this didn't really come as a surprise. Republican Chris Carr, the current state attorney general, he is running for the state's highest post. Governor Brian Kemp, he's term limited, and Carr is expected to be the first of many contenders.
Chris Carr's political career began 20 years ago when he joined forces with Senator Johnny Isakson, later becoming his chief of staff. Carr returned to Georgia in 2013 to serve as commissioner of the state's Department of Economic Development. In 2016, Governor Nathan Deal promoted Carr to attorney general to fill a vacancy. Carr then ran for re-election. He won a very close race in 2018 and had a more comfortable win in 2022. Carr's priorities as attorney general: fighting gang violence, consumer fraud, and human trafficking.
No matter where you are now in the state of Georgia, it isn't going to matter. You're going to have the state attorney general's office that's willing to go there, going into court, making sure that those that are buying and selling are put behind bars.
Carr also jumped into the fray against what he felt was federal overreach, joining a lawsuit with 24 other attorneys general against a Biden administration mandate for employee vaccinations.
This is about whether or not the president of the United States has the authority to mandate companies and individuals to do this, and he does not.
Well, his name will not be the only one. More Republicans, they are expected to enter the race. They'll have a primary, and then the winner of that primary should feel pretty good. Republicans have won 6 straight governor's races here in Georgia. And within hours of Carr's decision, the Georgia Democratic Party, they had their response ready to go. The state party chair, Congresswoman Nikema Williams, said in reference to Carr, quote, "Georgians have already endured 8 years of this failed leadership, and we're looking forward to rejecting it in 2026 in favor of a strong Democratic governor who will put Georgians first."
Hey, y'all, I'm not gonna lie. That last statement, I don't know. We've had a failed 8 years. I would have put, for like they said, the Republicans have been winning the governor's seat for, I seen somewhere it says since 1998. The only reason I remember that is because it was when I was born, y'all. You know, so there has not been a Democratic governor in Georgia since Steve was born. So I don't know what to tell you about this. This definitely is a shocking news to me. It's shocking news to me. What did she say? They won the last 8, or was it 6 races? Like, oh snap. Oh snap. I don't even know. I personally wouldn't know how to feel about that if I was there. But Chris Carr, y'all, Chris Carr, the Attorney General, is one of the names that we need to be paying attention to at this point. All I know about Chris Carr is that he had the same position that VP Harris held in California, because she was also the Attorney General. So I kind of know what the Attorney General do, kind of don't, which means I need to do some research. I could do it right here for y'all, but I'm not going to do that. I already showed y'all how to do that, just to be more informed. But Chris Carr is a big name in this 2026 governor's race. There's also more names in there, so let's go ahead and see some Georgia politics analyzing the governor face-off. Let's see what they got to say about that as well.
Time now for our political roundtable. Today, we have Republican strategist and pollster Mark Roundtree, the founder and president of Landmark Communications, based right here in Atlanta, and Democratic strategist Fred Hicks, the founder and president of the Hicks Evaluation Group, 2 of our returning panelists. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. Let's get into 2026. We're hearing from Chris Carr officially throwing his hat into the ring relatively early, though, Mark. What is the strategy here to do it this early, especially when he has a potential challenger from somebody, Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones, who has been very vocal on the Trump campaign trail and with the MAGA wing of the party?
It's all money. He's going to focus his efforts on raising money, including over these Christmas holidays. And if he doesn't announce now, he has to wait until after the legislative session is over. He doesn't want to wait 6 months for that. And it's a smart move on his part. His real opponent here is actually not Burt Jones at this stage. It's probably going to be Brad Raffensperger, the Secretary of State. They're going to battle it out for a likely second place position and a runoff against Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones.
With that primary, Fred, I just want to ask you this on the Democratic side. Could we expect to hear?
Okay, so y'all see the point being that we're starting so early now because they already want to start raising money, which is a crazy thing to me, how much donations and raising money actually does matter in politics. There's a lot of money to be had in politics. I mean, we've seen it just off of what VP Harris, the Democrats for president, they were giving away just to have ads ran on different networks. So there is definitely a lot of money to be raised. So I don't blame them. Why not start early? But this other dude, he's about to talk about the Democrats. So I would also like to see what's the Democrats' plan for this upcoming race that's about to happen, because the last thing that I remember when it comes to, at least I would say, the governors is Stacey Abrams. I voted for her twice. It didn't work out twice. So I would like to see where they go from there. But not only that, since then, even in this election, you know, the Democrats kind of, it didn't look good on a large scale wave of things. It didn't look good for the Democrats. So I would like to see, where do they recuperate here in Georgia? We do have 2 Senate seats that are Democrat. So, you know, the Democrats still might have a foothold in Georgia. So I would like to definitely pay attention to what the Democrats learned from this presidential race. Hopefully they're not having rallies with Meg Thee Stallion on stage, you know, like, hopefully they're not raising a lot of money and giving it all to that. You know, I really want to see how they're going to run this race, what policies they're going to present for the Georgia people, that will really resonate with Georgians as a whole. So I definitely will be looking forward to see what they do in the future. But let's go ahead and continue.
Some contenders there. A big name that's been floated out is Lucy McBath.
Yeah. So I think that for Democrats, we'll see people wait until the early part of the new year, because right now we're trying to straighten out our state party situation, and we're also trying to settle on a new national party chair. So once the national and the state level has been settled, I think that's when you'll start seeing a few names to step out there. I think we need to look at Lucy McBath. I think we all should also be on the lookout for DeKalb CEO Michael Thurmond, whose term will end here soon. And I think also State Senator Sonia Halpern, as well as State Senator Jason Estevez.
Both of you said things that made me think, so we're going to get into this. Let's start with you, Fred. One name you left off of your potential list was Stacey Abrams. But there are a lot of people who are watching very closely to see what she does leading into 2026.
Big question, where is Stacey Abrams?
Yeah, so Stacey Abrams is, of course, a name that you always have to consider. She's vaguely, flirted, so to speak, with the idea. But I think at this stage, unlike 4 years ago, Democrats are not going to sit back and wait for her and wait for her decision from her. People who want to run are going to run. And I think there are Democrats who look at what happened 4 years ago and regret not making that decision then. So if she decides to run, she will not have a clear path.
It'll be a competitive primary.
There's a lot of Stacey Abrams exhaustion, I think, as well. I think there are a lot of people that just kind of want to move on from the era of losing barely. And I think the Democrats I think she kind of knows that too.
It wasn't barely 4 years ago or 2 years ago.
Say she definitely helped push the Democrats over.
And she has.
Yeah, I definitely feel like she should not be the one to run, but I do feel like her being involved is a very key aspect for the Democratic Party. She kind of needs to be when it comes to Georgia politics, she needs to be involved in a very major way in pushing whoever the candidate is going to be forward. Because let's be real, y'all. Stacey Abrams, she does bring people together, and she can be very influential when it comes to empowering the people to go out and vote. So I don't think she should be the candidate, but I do feel like she should be heavily involved with whoever the main candidate for the Democratic Party will be. This is coming from somebody who I voted for her twice. It might not have been in a time where I felt like I was an informed voter, but I do kind of, understand the appeal that Stacey Abrams has on people. However, I do feel like she's had her chance already. I feel like she's going to bat twice already. So now let's give somebody else a chance. But she definitely is a major player for the Democratic Party as a whole. Let's just be real. I really do think that's why the senators won their races. Warnock and Ossoff. I feel like that's why they won their races, was because of her. So Yeah, she's going to continue to be very involved. Just see where everything plays out for both of these parties.
Been a figure in Georgia politics for many years now. Yeah. Mark, one quick follow up to you. You sort of very quickly said Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones isn't really going to be the challenger, the serious challenger to Chris Carr. I think a lot of people are going to hear that and disagree.
Well, I'm saying that the job here for Chris Carr is to get in a runoff. There are going to be significant candidates running for governor. It's unlikely anyone wins the first time out. I'm saying Burt Jones probably comes in first place at this stage. We've polled it at Landmark Communications, and he leads the race. He basically was leading, count it what you will, by about 32 to 20 for Carr, with Raffensperger in third place at about 12%. This was in August. And so I think the battle here right now is for second place. But you can't overlook that Congressman Buddy Carter from Savannah may also get in the race. He wants to run for something statewide, and he has a long history in this legislature. You probably get some of the fringe candidates that might run. Candace Taylor, the 1st Congressional District, has run before. And then a self-funding candidate may also get in this race as a potential serious candidate.
Gentlemen, I want to ask you this. Looking into Washington, a lot of appointments coming out from President-elect Trump. Marjorie Taylor Greene is expected to be on a subcommittee working with the Department of Government Efficiency with the House, with Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy. What do you see her role in this, Mark?
I think the main thing she brings to the table 100% of the time is the ability to get attention for an effort. These reports.
From that angle, I think that's a good thing. And when you talk about cutting services, having someone from ethics.
They will.
We'll see. We have to come back and talk about it. Not sure how effective this thing can be if they don't have control of the Senate at the end of 2026.
They will.
We'll see. We have to come back and talk about it.
All right, yeah, they're talking about the Senate race at the end of 2026 because a lot of seats are going to be put up. But overall, y'all, there were a lot of names. There were a lot of names that just got put out there from that panel that I quite frankly don't know who any of them are. I've probably voted against plenty of them. I've probably actually voted for 1 or 2 of them. Let's be real. I told y'all how I used to vote. Y'all can hold it over my head. I'm totally okay with that. I'm totally okay with the faults that I've had in the past. Okay. And I'm just looking forward to the future to being an informed voter, actually. Like, it's crazy that I probably did vote against the Attorney General. I probably did vote against a lot of the other names that were up there. And they ended up winning, and I didn't even know. Did I even care? Probably not. Did it affect me? Yeah, it probably did. It probably did. But I just didn't know. I didn't know. I don't know how in any slight way or form. So, like I said, the biggest thing that I'm taking from this Georgia 2026 governor's race is let's get informed. I don't want to say let's get involved because you might not catch Steve out there, rallying for somebody or doing all that stuff. But let's definitely get involved in the aspect of learning who these candidates are, learning what each candidate brings to the table on both sides. That way, when it comes down to it, we'll be informed voters and know who we're going to vote for off the top, without being an uninformed voter. Let's be real. Being an uninformed voter in 2026 is not going to be cool anymore, guys. Voting down the ballot just because you agree, or no, voting down the ballot just because you say you're a Democrat and you don't know what any of them bring to the table is not cool anymore. Okay. Let's just get that out the way. But I do look forward to this race. I look forward to seeing who's going to step up to the plate, who's putting their name in the hat, and getting to know these candidates so we can make an informed decision. Hey, y'all, let me know how y'all feel about this race. If you're here in Georgia, like, subscribe, and leave a comment.